Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Saturday. I'm just here with a good friend of mine. And today we're going to be doing something different and something that I've been trying to talk about for probably months now. I wanted to start doing something on Saturday morning, having a guest on and start doing some hacking. Last week, I wanted, Lorenzo to do some red team techniques, but I guess his setup wasn't set up enough. But I want to try to do this. So if you're ever interested in doing like a live hacking session or hack along, whatever you want to call it, hit me up and we'll get you on. And today we have Ali. So go ahead and introduce yourself and who are you and what you've been up to, man?
Yeah, hi there. Thank you very much for having me over here. I highly appreciate that one. So, my name is Ali Zain Zahid, known as Programmer Boy as well. So, I have been a pen tester since last 8 years right now. So, working in pen testing field, doing some red teaming stuff, AD stuff, web stuff, having some certifications like OSCP, OSEP, and OSWE just did last few months ago. And yeah, doing a lot of pen test stuff right now, also working on AWS cloud as well. So yeah, that's all.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you for that intro. And yeah, and congratulations again on the OSWE. And I think you said you're going to go for the OSED, right? So you have all three of them.
Yeah,
So you can get your
yeah,
pretty
exactly.
coin and hang it up on your wall or something. I don't know. But
Yeah,
awesome. So today we're going to do, he's going to explain what he's going to be doing. He's going to be doing a VulnLab machine. And, I'm just going to pass the baton to him. If you have any questions during the techniques or during the process, just throw it in the chat and we will, I'm sure I'll learn something new because I learned a lot from this kid. And let's keep growing and subscribe to his channel as well. He has some good stuff. So go ahead and let's go ahead and share your screen and pass it over to you.
yeah. Let me share my screen in 2 minutes.
Yeah, no set. It hasn't shared yet. If you have,
Yeah, just 1 more minute.
oh, okay. All right, there we go. All right.
To let me know
So
if everything is okay.
yeah, I think it's okay. It's probably a little small.
Yeah, let me make it big.
And this is new to me, so bear with us.
Yeah,
And yeah, so I'll pass the baton to you and go to town. And
okay. Yeah, so right over here in today's stream, what we will going to do is we will going to learn AD stuff. So right now I have been in the AD stuff for last 4 or 5 years, doing a lot of AD stuff. And this one is a platform called VulnLab, one of the best platform, I think so. There are some other ones like Hack the Box and TryHackMe, but this one is also interesting one, which is having a lot of real world case scenarios as well. So what I have done over here is this stream, and I will be going to showcase all of the AD stuff right from the beginning till the end, and I will be going to showcase a huge amount of methodology and a lot of tools what we normally use in daily life and all of that stuff. So for those of you who doesn't know about AD and all of that stuff, this one will be a very good one for you, so you can watch this one and try to learn a lot of things. So the one which I have picked over here is an Active Directory chains over here on VulnLab, and right over here VulnLab do have a lot of chains right over here. So if I can go to my machine section, or let me see where I can see, because VulnLab has a very strange and different behavior than Hack the Box. Though, so Hack the Box have their machines and all of those listed on there, so you can just click on them, power it on, and then you can just start doing the machines. But VulnLab is actually having all of the stuff on their Discord, so you just need to go to Discord and you need to start the machine over there. You will get IPs addresses over there and all of that stuff. So if I go over here to my machines, so they have divided their platform into three terms. You can say machines. These are standalone machines. Then there comes chains. So chains are AD chains right over here, which are like 2 3 machines connected into each other. So these are the chains, and then there are red teaming labs. So what we will going to do today is we will going to pick up the most hardest one, which is the last one, which is Klendathu. And this one is a Windows, and this one is insane level from Snowscan. Again, Snowscan is one of the best pen tester as well from Hack the Box, being number one on Hack the Box a lot of time. So this is the machine which I will going to do, and I already have started up and set up a lot of stuff over there, like doing nmap scan. So I don't want it to waste time. So because this one might get much more over. So let's start directly now by doing this machine, and let's see how it goes on. So first of all, I always start off with nmap scan. Now again, I will going to showcase this all of my techniques and all of the tools. And another thing which I will going to showcase is that, let's say for you who just want to learn AD and they just want to say that I want to learn AD only in 1 hour, then this one will be a great session for them actually as well. So let's start directly. So I am provided right now the IP addresses, which I cannot show right here on Discord, but my IP addresses are, what I can do is I'm connected to the VPN, so I can just in my Terminator title bar, I can just type in the IP 9197.245 is the domain controller. Then the second machine is 246, and then the third machine is 247. So just to showcase somewhere on the screen, I already have BloodHound started out, so I can show what BloodHound is doing and all of that stuff. So let's start off with the first of all, the first thing is nmap scan. So I always start off with nmap scan, so scanning all of the open ports and all of that stuff. So for those for normally I do is I do nmap dash a dash v, and then the IP address of the target. So 197.245 is the domain controller most probably, and then I will hit enter. The other way around to do is the full port scan. So I normally go for rust scan for doing a full port scan. So if I do rust scan, and one more thing is that the commands are quite huge. So normally I don't remember all of these commands. So for the commands, I am also running my own website called notes.programmersecurity.com, and over here I do have a lot of things which I'm doing on daily basis. So copy pasting commands from this website, from these all are my notes. So what I do is I just copy paste over here, just like Hactrix. So Hactrix got deleted out. I do have a Docker container of Hactrix as well, but that's how it normally works on. So this is the command which normally I like to use out if I'm going to do a full port scan. So rust scan dash a, and then I can give the IP address of my domain controller 10.197.245, and then minus means that pass out this to an aggressive scan of nmap. So dash a means aggressive scan, so it will be most probably the same command which I did like this. So what this command does is, this command is the rust scan command is actually doing a full port scan on this one, so all of the ports, and it will be quite fast, and then passing out to this nmap command, so all in one command. So this is what I like to do. So just to save time, I already have done that one into my notes. So I have made a lot of notes over here while I was solving this for this session actually. So hopefully this one I will going to showcase all of the techniques and all of that stuff, so not much more than that. So I will not be going to solve this whole machine, so you can either watch walkthroughs, although all those sort of stuff for that one. So okay, so the first machine is the domain controller, and domain controller is always having port 88 on it. So just to identify if you are targeting a domain controller, they'll just see port 88 because that is Kerberos. And then we are having some 389 port, that is LDAP as well. And then there are these common ports for the domain controller. Now this one will be a fast forward one because I will not be going to waste a lot of time over on these basic sort of stuff. So just nmap and all of the ports, all that. So that's why I will be fast forwarding these steps. So I will be taking much more time on the most difficult concepts right over here. So the domain controller is this one. Then we do have the second machine, which is I don't know it. From my SQL server, I can see it might be a Windows machine because the Microsoft SQL server is over here. So looking at some other ports, 135 SMB ports, then there is 1433, which is again my Microsoft SQL server, and then coming down towards 3389 RDP, which is again shows me this might be a Windows machine again. And
Ali,
then
can
we
you
do
make it a
have the
little
third.
bigger? The font just a
Oh,
little
sure.
bigger?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
better.
Okay, so the third machine is a Linux machine actually, which is having an SSH over here, RPC over here, and then we do have some 2049 port, which is definitely the mount port. So yeah, that's all actually for the nmap scan right over here. So now I will be going to showcase all of my methodology and all of that stuff. So let's see how to start on whether you are in such sort of environment. So most of my stuff will be based upon the real world stuff which I have experienced in the past as well. So let's see. So we are now having three machines. Now looking at the nmap scan of the three machines directly, the first one which I took just was looking interesting to me was definitely the 2049 port, because 2049 port is showcasing that what things you can mount on your own system from this one. So that's what it is. Thus the other one, if let's say if 2049 port was not there, what could I have done? So I could have looked over to the second machine, MSSQL, where like trying default credentials. Okay, before starting out my all commands and all of the stuff, so I will be going to showcase, if you can watch this stream completely after whenever it ends, you will be able to easily solve OSCP AD set and OSEP as well. So I will be going to showcase a lot of techniques which will list out all those sort of stuff as well. So if you are got stuck in any certification, this stream will be very much helpful for you as well. So then if let's say if 2049 port was not there and I was not having from the second machine, then definitely port 88 is over there. So I use Kerberos to actually enumerate a lot of usernames, like brute forcing usernames and trying to find out some usernames on that one. And then I also look for SMB shares on domain controller. Mostly I don't get any success over there. Then I go for, you can see, 389 LDAP. So let's see how it goes on. So first of all, I just do basic banner grabbing. So there is one of the tool which is called NetExec, which one is one of the most powerful tool right now. So I always do banner grabbing by doing NetExec SMB and then the IP address of the domain controller and all of the other machines as well. So, and I will also be going to show you some how to systemize the things and how to make things much more easy for you. So again, looking at the banner, I can see it is Windows Server 2022. DC1 is the name and the domain name is Klendathu.vl. Signing is true and SMBV1 is false. That's fine. The second one which I can try to do over here is the second machine. So the just doing basic banner grabbing of on all of the stuff. So this one is again Windows Server 2022. Then let's go for third one. Third one is definitely a Linux machine, so NetExec will never be working on that one. So that's fine, just doing a basic banner grabbing. So there's other stuff which I will be going to go for is, yeah. So I was talking about systemizing the thing. So I always try to make a file called ips.txt. So here I will be going to add a lot of IPs, all those three IPs which I can. So 10.10.197.245 and then 246 and 247. So the reason why I always do the IPs in my file, because we can also pass the file as well. So if I do netexec and if I do SMB and then I just pass it out the file, so I don't need to type in IPs again and again. So it will pass out the IPs to netexec and all of that in one command. Okay, so that's how I do a basic banner grabbing. So this one is DC1, this one is SRV1, and the third one is Linux. So netexec is not working on Linux one. So right now that's fine. So let's move on to what other things I could have done if I am in an Active Directory environment, in real world environment. So again, the first thing always I will use Kerberos. So Kerberos, and I always never remember the command. So I will always either copy from my website or wherever in my notes, or I always see the help menu. So Kerberos has a very good module over here called user enum. So user enum just what does is just do try to find out usernames, and we need to pass out the word list over here. So if I do Kerberos user enum dash h for the help menu, what I can do is I can see the help menu for user enum module, and these are the things which I need to pass out. So that's how I will be going to pass out the commands as well. So let me know if my terminal is visible at the bottom, or shall I make it upwards? Yeah, okay, it's good. Okay, so now I will be going to do is Kerberos user enum, and again I need to see the flags. So that is -d is for domain, and I need to do --dc for the domain controller, and I think so that's all what I need to do. So what I can do is I can try to do -d for domain, and the domain will be Klendathu.vl. Now before that we need to add this domain into our host file as well. So I will open my host file just to confirm my IPs are correct over here. So that's fine. Now, what I can other do is dash dash DC is 10.10.197.245. And if I try to go for, let's see the help menu, what we could have done more. Yeah, so I need to provide the word list over here. So for word list, I mostly use seclist. So if I do locate seclist, I'll normally use this one. So locate seclist and I grab for usernames. So if I do usernames, I can try to pick any one of the word lists from here. So I normally try to do the biggest one and I pass out the word list, hit enter. And that would be my first approach, whether I in any Active Directory environment, like trying to find out some usernames, because AD is all about trying to find out some usernames, and AD is one. Yeah, so there is a comment over here that we cannot see it. The ban is covering. So okay, yeah, I will bring the screen upwards. So
Yeah, I guess like when, because the
yeah,
name in the bottom.
exactly. So let me do it just like this. Yeah, it will be much better now. Okay, so this is the command
Thank
right
you.
over here, hit enter, and now it will be going to try to find out some usernames in the beginning at the end. So that's how it is. I start normally. Then the other way I can start in a real world environment is capturing the traffic. So always start Wireshark, always start TCP dump, always start those network monitoring tools inside an environment in an AD. So let's say if there are some communications going on, you can try to capture the traffic in a real world environment. So right now I will not be going to show you that one. So now I will press Control C over here and let's move on to some other stuff. So the third thing which I always do is LDAP search. So there was 389 port open. So LDAP search is the tool which I always use, and dash H for host. Again, I do have now memorized a little bit of commands, but I will not be going to showcase from where you can get these commands, because there is a lot of things which I need to showcase right now. So definitely Hactrix is the one. The second one is exploit nodes. The third one is payload all the things. So these three are the platforms from where I have got all of these commands, added my own notes and all of that stuff. So these are the ones which I'm using frequently. But now I am making my own notes as well. So if you want to go on to notes.programmersecurity.com, you can try to see all of the stuff.
Yeah,
So I'm
Ali, if you
still
want to throw
building this
that in
one.
the
Yeah.
chat, if you want to throw it in the private chat,
Yeah.
all those,
Yeah.
your notes, so and then we can share it at the end.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Just send it down.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. So coming towards again our own search. So what yeah, so LDAP search, LDAP colon slash 10.10.197.245. Now for LDAP search to work, we need some sort of a base naming context, I think so. So for that I need to find out what is the base naming context. So base naming context, because if we pass out the base naming context, then that might work. So let me see if I have made something wrong. So dash S. Oh yeah, I need to go for simple authentication because it was asking me for the password. I don't have any password, so I will go for dash X, which means simple authentication. And then I do have some DC is equal to something and DC is equal to VL, which is a base naming context. And then for LDAP search to work on, I need to provide out my base now. That is this one, and like this. So then if I hit enter, and sometimes I do get a bunch of information over here on this command, but right now over here I'm not getting anything interesting, so definitely not work. So now I have tried a lot of things, banner grabbing, I have done brute forcing the usernames, trying to find out some new usernames, and I've tried LDAP search and all of that stuff, but that is not working for me anymore. The other thing which I can try to do for is looking for shares. So I can try to either use Impacket SMB client. The second tool I use is SMB client. The third tool I use is SMB map. And the fourth tool I use is again netexec. So all of the tools are good to go for is. So I can use netexec SMB, and I can try to do 10.10.197. And this will be going for anonymous usernames and anonymous shares. So if I am able to log in as anonymous and do that sort of stuff. So if I do dash, let's say username is anonymous. One more thing is that I always try null authentication as well. So right here, I will try anonymous, and I will say that I want to see the shares on this domain controller. Let's see if I get anything interesting over here or no. So yeah, nothing, minus red sign. I can also do it with rather passing the IP. I have IPs in my IPs file, so I can simply pass out to this one. Yeah, so this all is recon right here, which I am doing right now and trying to get inside any one machine, trying to get anything interesting over here. So nothing interesting still now. So this means that on domain controller, I am having a hard time over here to move on. So let's move on to the second machine. And yeah, so again, I started off with like I can try. Yeah, the other thing is the second machine is 1433. So 1433 is MSSQL. So I always try to go for the default credentials on MSSQL. This one is very important. So if you are doing some certifications, always try to do that as well. The last one which I go for, yeah, so right now let's come to our most targets, which one was interesting. So 2049 is mount. So on 2049, I always do, whenever I see 2049 port open, I always use a tool called show mount. So show mount dash e, and then the IP address of the target, which is 247, and hit enter. So right away, I can see that there is /mnt/nfs shares, which I can mount over here. So now that would be interesting thing for me. And now after doing a little bit of information, enumeration, sorry. So I am able to find out something interesting over here. So now that would be my most prime target that I need to try out. So there is NFS shares folder, which I can try to see and look it out. So for again, regarding the commands, you can go to hacktricks and all of that stuff. So I do might have that one. So yeah, in 2049 pen testing NFS, I do have my methodology a little bit over here again while doing this box. So what my methodology is that always try to do a box. I always go for taking those notes, taking screenshots, and those sort of stuff. So show mount is the command, and then for mounting I use this command. So I'll just completely fast forward this one, the command right over here. And for that, I need to be having a mount mnt directory. I always make a directory. So let's do mkdir and let's say mnt. So whatever gets mounted out will be in this directory. So let me change the IP over here. So dash t means over here the target is NFS, and then the IP, and then the share we need to mount out into my directory. And yeah, so 10.10.197.247 it was Linux machine. So enter. And now what this command will do is it will mount that NFS shares folder into my MNT, and let's see how it goes on. Now this one will be a little bit slow. So if I go into MNT and if I do ls-la over here, this one gets slow. So I do have only a one file. I don't know what that file is. So I normally try to do is I copy these files into my previous directory to come out of mount. So I will copy this switch file out of MNT, so then I don't get stuck and get slow a lot of. So now if I try to do open this, let's open this file, and now let's see what is in this file. So this one I'll just as a basic beginner person, yeah.
Yeah,
So
and you know what this is, right? It's a Cisco switch config.
yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
know what it is, but actually I'm just pretending that I'm just a
Oh,
beginner and I exactly don't know what I'm going to do. So again, once you are in a real world environment, you exactly don't know a lot of things exactly. Okay, so I'm just taking this scenario with a real world case scenario. So I'm just pretending that okay, I don't know this. This is what this is. So let's say, so for those who are beginners who are just going into an AD environment, they exactly don't know so how to figure things out. So that, yeah, that's for the main case scenario which I normally teach a lot. So coming over here in this whole configuration file, what I will be looking for again in an AD environment: usernames, passwords, and some critical information. So the first thing right over here directly I can see over here is a hash. So now I exactly don't know how to crack this hash, and okay, there is a password here as well called Cisco, and yeah, that's what it is. And let's scroll down a little bit if I can see anything interesting. Nothing. Oh, there is one username. So zim at Klendathu.vl. So we do have some potential information from this file. So now the first thing, I always rather directly attacking it, I always make my attack much more smarter as well. So I first of all create two files called, one of them will be users file. So whatever users I have found out was Zim. So this is Windows actually. So in Windows actually I don't need to take care of the case sensitivity. So I can either rather do Zim with capital M. That will be totally fine because Windows is in case sensitive. So Zim is the username which I found out. Let's make a password file as well. So passwords.txt, and what password there was. Oh no, I was not having any password, I believe. There was this password called Cisco, so I will just add it into my password file. And then I was having this hash file. Now again, whenever in a real world environment or wherever rather you are doing CTF or any other stuff, if you get a hash, what to do with the hash? That's the main thing scenario. So always identify what sort of hash it is. So most of the people in nowadays can go to GPTs, LLMs, and try to say, hey, this is the hash which I found out, tell me what sort of hash is this. So I don't normally do that one. I normally go to a website called hashcat example hashes. Yeah. So on hashcat example hashes, what I do is, yeah, there is a comment from here that on the bottom there is a password called 123456. Let me see where it was. Oh yeah, there are two passwords, 123456. Yeah, so I will add this password into my password file as well. So yeah, thank you for that one. And let's move on. Okay, so coming over to hashcat example hashes. So what I like to do is I always first of all identify the hash from here. So the hash was starting off with $1, right? So what I do is I just copy this $1, go to the website, and I do control F, paste it over here, and right away I can see that this hashcat does have this hash listed on his example hashes page, that is Cisco iOS, and the hash looks similar to the one which I have found out. So this is a clear indication for me that yeah. So and hashcat has told us that his mode is 500. So now normally hashcat does have a feature that it identifies hashes on its own as well. A very good feature in the latest version. So yeah. So now if I try to go for, yes, another thing I always do is I always make a file called hashes.txt, and I go for copy this hash and go into hashes and paste the hash over here. Okay. So just to for hashcat to help us. So hashcat pass out the hash file, and again the word list, use a share word list procu.txt. And let's see, right now I'm not having graphic card on my virtual machine, but if I would have been on my own machine, that would be much more faster. Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. So hashcat actually tells you that, hey, this is your hash present in the file, the mode is 500, try with that mode. So now I will say okay dash m. I have verified it manually from the website, but hashcat does that for us as well. So now if I do that one, I normally have cracked this hash previously. So what I can do is I can pass out a show parameter, I believe. And yeah, so I believe that was because of my port file in the hashcat directory. I don't know where it can be, but yeah, because it was saved in my port file, so that's why it didn't crack directly. So I need to pass out the show parameter, and the hash cracked, and that we got password called football22. Now, after doing a bunch of enumeration, I am somewhere now. So I have three passwords and I have a username. First thing first, I need to find out that, yeah, so I need to find out whether this username is a legitimate user onto the domain, because I don't need to be into a false positive. So again, I told you Kerberos was a tool. So I will use my previous command now for this one. So 10.10.197.245. So what this command will do is that it will catch the users from my users file, and it will try to throw it at the domain controller, and it will tell whether this is an active or no. So that's the whole idea behind this command. And directly it says, yeah, Zim is a valid username present over here. Again, whenever I get usernames and password, I always go for password spraying. Password spraying is one of the most powerful. Yes. So from the command I can see spray and pray. So let's use netexec as well. So netexec is the one which I use nowadays. Previously, I was using crackmac.exec. So netexec SMB, let's target my all of the IPs, and I will going to target out -u for users file, -p for passwords. So -p for passwords, and let's hit enter and let's see what happens now. So yeah, now it is password spraying on that one. And over here I do have a plus sign on uh, SRV1. Okay, so on SRV1 I do have a plus sign, and on DC1 I do have a plus sign as well, which means that I am able to see some shares. Now again, beginners do a lot of problem, and that's why there are some of my colleagues who failed their OSCP as well because of their methodology. So the methodology, this is not the methodology actually. The methodology is you are targeting SMB. Why not you are targeting other protocols like WinRM? So you cannot log in with WinRM. Yes, you can. So try with all of the protocols you are doing. So there are a lot of protocols: WinRM, RDP, MSSQL, and then because I saw on the second machine there was MSSQL over there, so MSSQL and all of the other stuff. So I will try with all of that. MSSQL sometimes might work, sometimes doesn't, but let's see. So yeah, you can see on SRV1 MSSQL these credentials are working, so that's a potential hit for me. The last one which I always do is RDP, and there is one more that is I believe, yeah, RDP, MSSQL, WinRM, and SMB. Yeah, these are the ones. So for RDP, I do have plus sign over here, but normally I don't have a pound sign, so I cannot actually log in directly on the domain controller or SRV1. So for logging in and getting access, you need to have this one. And now, yeah, so other things what I like to do normally is, let's see. So yeah, so NXC needs an static option for protocol. Yeah. Get the user list and BH dump. So, oh yeah, yeah, I can also try to go for Bloodhound, exactly. So I will going to go for Bloodhound afterwards as well. So let's move on towards, because I want to show all of the techniques, I will be moving on to Bloodhounds once more as well. Yeah, so for Bloodhound, a lot of people doesn't know that Bloodhound Python version is over here as well. So you can run Bloodhound from your Kali machine rather uploading Sharphound, or there was one more script that collects all of the data from the domain controller and all of that stuff. For that we need to be on the machine, but if we have credentials we can actually move on. But one more thing which I can try to do over here is, yeah, password string is done, I believe. Let's see what we can else do. Yeah, for it worked on MSSQL, so I can quickly try on MSSQL client. I can use MSSQL client tool, since I again don't know how to use this domain. Then I need to provide the username, then I need to provide the password, and then the IP address of the target. So let's use Impacket MSSQL client. Then I need to give the domain, which is klendathu.vl. Username is Zim, password is football 22, and then the IP address of the target, which is 10.10.197.240. I think so it was 6, which was having MSSQL. So hit enter and I got an error. Now the reason why I got an error over here is because by default it is trying to do Kerberos authentication. So might be possible these credentials are not authenticating to Kerberos. So we need to go for, I think so, Windows auth. So Windows dash auth. This might work. And yeah, we do are in MSSQL. So now let me summarize right now what we have done until now. So we started off with domain controller enumeration. We tried to find out some usernames, but we failed. We tried to do some shares. We failed over there as well. And we tried to do a lot of things, but we did fail. Then we move on to the second machine. I didn't try anything on second machine, but on the third machine, there was mount 2049 port open. So on 2049, I directly went over towards mounting the shares, finding some usernames, passwords, verifying those, and now using the and crack one hash. And that now I am in MS SQL client, which is the second machine. So that's how in real world you are moving way forward. So there are a lot of people, beginners, who are actually only targeting one machine in an AD environment, and they are saying that, okay, I'm trying to compromise this, I will compromise this and then move on. No, you need to target all of the AD environment at one go. So put all of the IPs in a file and spray over all of that. That's one of the most important tip which I can give for AD. Now I'm in a MS SQL client database. So the first thing for beginners actually that will be, if I see the help menu over here, that will be definitely XP command shell. So in MS SQL client, XP command shell directly gives you command execution. So if I do XP underscore command shell, who am I? It should give me, if it we do have privileges, definitely in this case scenario, it says permission was denied. So definitely I cannot run who am I in that one, because if I would have run who am I could have got easily reverse shell and the first machine is over. So again, I am going to showcase all of the techniques. So the first thing what you can do is try to enable. So definitely we don't have permission. So if I do enable XP command shell, it will tell me you do not have permission. So if I would have permissions, I can enable XP command shell, simply do XP command shell who am I, and I should have get the output over here. But it doesn't work. So the next thing which I can do is, let's see. Okay, so yeah, the next thing which I can try over here is this one is from pen 300. This the concept now which I'm going to show you, that is called, you can say, someone is using this MS SQL database. I don't know which user it is. I can try to find out the username over here by doing user underscore name, I believe. Yeah, right now I'm a guest user. Definitely that's why I am not having permissions. But this MS SQL server is running in context of some username as well, which is running it onto Windows. Definitely. So I need to find out that username, or I need to find out that stuff. Yeah. So from command, someone told us that XP underscore tree. So there is a function over here. So if I see the help menu, so XP underscore data tree is the one which is it gets a path and then it executes on a path. So we can try to pass out it on a path. So either it can be any other path. But the strange thing about this one is that it also accepts remote path as well. So we can also try to pass out it our own share. So what I can do is, so I can try to go for, okay, so there is a comment over here. Can't you try privilege escalation? So in MS SQL database, I can't. So this is a database right over here. I'm not on the system. So I need to be, yeah, but I will be going to try to somehow escalate my privileges. That's what my main goal will be. Okay. So that's what I will do right now. So let's move on. So my main goal is try to find some way to either I can escalate my privileges to run XP command shell and all that stuff. So that's what I will be going to do. So now, yeah, so XP, we were talking about XP underscore date tree. So XP underscore date tree is the one which actually a lot of people doesn't know. Actually, it accepts share as well. So what an attacker can do in this case scenario is he can start off his responder. Okay, so responder is a tool which we normally start in real world environments just right in the beginning. So if we have, let's say there are a lot of shares people are going on in real world environments, in AD environments. So let's say if someone comes at office at 9 or 8 a.m. in the morning, he tries to sign up and he tries to go for a wrong share. So yeah, so if he tries to go for a wrong share, what happens out is that responder comes in, responder says that, hey, you have come to the right place, come to me, send me your NTLM hash, and I will give you that stuff. So that's how it works on in a responder actually. So in short, so normally yeah, so let me see if we can see. Yeah, you can see it on the screen. Okay, so this is my responder now starting out and it's listening for events. So what I can try to do is I can try to pass out the path over here. So 10.8.5.85, which is my local IP. Yeah, exactly, I was talking about LLMR poisoning, that stuff. So okay, so if I try to do any share, let's say that does not exist. So now if I hit enter, let's see if this works. So if I hit enter and could not find store procedure, I think so I misspelled it. So XP underscore date tree. Yeah, I just misspelled the R over here. So the tree, hit enter, and yeah, I do have syntax error. Let's try to do it without quotes, or I believe I need two forward slashes right over here. So enter now and correct syntax. Let's remove the quotes. Might work in this way. And yeah, it works, but again, we don't have permissions. So that was the thing which was taught to me in Pen 300. This thing I learned in Pen 300 course. Okay. So now, but the technique which I learned over here in Pen 300 is still not working over here. So what I need to do, I need to again now figure out one more thing. So after doing a lot of search and also going to my website as well, I do have my methodology over here as well for doing these all sort of stuff. So if I go to my website and in my MSSQL pen testing, I might have that one. Yeah. So yeah, one more thing is you are rather doing XP try to do this one. This one will also not work, but still it's worth trying all of the things in a pen test. So /10.8.5.85 / anything random and incorrect syntax. Let me copy the same syntax from here just to save time. So 10.8.5.85, enter now. And again, permission denied, XP tree is not working for me as well. So now let's try some other stuff. So there was one more thing is XP file exist, and there's a new, you can say, technique of XP file exist, that is sys.dm.os file exist. So these we can try. So what these does is, if I see the help menu, let me see in the help menu, are these listed? No. Yeah, so in the help menu doesn't list over here. So what I can try to do now is I will try to see if the C drive is existing. So just a small thing to see. And yeah, this function is actually working out for me. And it's saying that, yeah, this one is our directory, actually C drive. So this function is working. So there was a post on Stack Overflow. I will again not show because of time shortage, because right now I need to showcase a lot of other stuff as well. So there is a very good Stack Overflow post which showcases the you can say alternative of XP underscore file exist. So regarding, if we talk about you are a pen tester or red teamer or whatever it is, so always try to find out way arounds. So if one thing is not working, try to find out another way around. If another thing is not working, try to find another way around. So that's our daily job actually, which we are doing mostly. So always try to find out way out, because the defensive people will be always having defenses. So definitely the basic sort of stuff will never work Excel. So if you are thinking you will go into MSSQL client and you will try to go for like XP command shell, definitely never work it. So that's how it goes on. So yeah, so the second one is this one, which is exec master.dbo.xp underscore file exists. So let's try this full form of this one. And if I try to pass out the C drive, so C drive :/ yeah, this one is working as well. So now what we can try to do over here is we can try to use also this which is select static from this one, and we can try to find pass it out any file. And one more interesting thing about this one was that, yeah, so if you do EDR, XDR kicks in. Yeah, exactly. So now I can try to find out C drive it is exists. So yeah, it does work here as well. But the interesting thing over here is that this function accepts the file shares as well, remote file shares. So a very good technique over here which we can try to do is, so if I yeah, my responder is still listening on, and let's try to pass out my share now over here. So I think so / is 10.8.5.85 / I think so. Let's do anything does not exist. Now if I hit enter, let's see what happens. And right over here, I got an error message that operating system returned error, access is denied. But what happened behind the scenes was that this function actually tried to find out that where is this share. So again, the same concept about laminar poisoning, but a little bit different. So right over here, it find out that this share is working, listening for incoming connections, and this one is an attacker responder, and he authenticated over here, and that we got another username, and that's the actual username who is running the database and all of that stuff, MSSQL, you can say. So now I do have the hash, and again, whenever we got the hash, there are two things which we can try to do. One thing is crack the hash, but in most of the real world scenarios, you are not able to crack the hash until and unless you are having a huge amount of graphic card power. So graphic card power can crack out, you can say, 10 character passwords as well. Uh, but if you go more than 10, then that becomes very hard. But if you are using a dictionary tag, so you can use word lists like Rocky or those sort of stuff. So definitely, yeah. So there is a question over here: why does server send the hash to client? What is the main purpose behind sending the hash? So the server is not sending the hash actually over here. So right over here, MSSQL is running under the context of, now I have got to know, is Rask Zag user, right? So MSSQL is running under the context of user called Rask Zag. But right over here, what happens out is that once we are trying to access the share, what happens out is that that service actually, because this one is a service account, might be, I am assuming, but might be this might be a service account. So those service accounts can actually call back to those shares, and that's how it is working on. So that's why it works on. So let's move on to, yeah, let's try to go for cracking the hash. So what I like to do normally is again hashcat. So let's control C, make a file called hash. Let's use the username as well. So raskzek hash, paste the hash in, pass it out to hashcat again. Let's use the previous command which I worked, but I will remove the mode and the hash file as well. So raskzek hash. So if I hit enter, let's see if this works. Okay, this one is working. I could have used John here as well. So both of those works pretty fine. So initializing backend runtime. Yeah, now it is working, and yeah, it does have cracked the hash. Yeah, so someone in the comment is saying hashcat dash M5600. So that was the thing which I was talking about. If I don't specify the hash format, hashcat does recognize it itself. So you will see right over here somewhere. Yeah, right over here. It shows me 5,600. So yeah, I could have specified dash M as well, but normally nowadays I don't, if it is easy. So Starship 99 is the password for raskzek user. Now what I can do with these, again, first thing first, follow the methodology. That's the most important one. Add this into a file. So Starship 99, the users file, I need to update that as well because I found another one, raskzek. And again, following the methodology, net exec, SMB, IPs, and I will remove the irrelevant usernames and passwords now. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 and Cisco I can remove just to save time. But you don't need to remove these in real world engagements. So let's see, in now we do have two usernames which looks legitimate to me and two passwords which look legitimate to me. So let's see what happens now. I believe the, yeah, it was ips.txt file. That's why it was not working. Yeah, one thing which I forgot to mention over here is that I can look at the shares as well. I just forgot about all of those. So that's the part of the methodology. So if I look the shares now, I should see some shares because these two are valid usernames and passwords. So let's see. I did have saved the file. Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah. So you can see Zim can see some shares over here on SRV1 and this one. So right over here there is one interesting which I directly go for, that is home days. So home days is a share which I can read out over here, and that can be interesting for me as well. So I also want to pass out a flag called continue. I think so this works with crackmap exec, but I don't know with this one this will work or no. So continue on success. What happens out is that if you got a first hit on the credentials, you, the tool just stops over there, so it will not check. Yeah, now it is checking the Rask actually. Yeah, so this flag actually worked over here. Yeah, so now it will try to see the shares for both of those, but Rask is not able to see the shares. So that's fine. And that's fine. So now we do have made a much more attack scenario, but now one more thing which I can try to do is let's try to log in on MSSQL client. Yeah. So let's try to go for MSSQL client and try to log in with the new username which I found out. So .vl slash username was raskzek, password is starship 99, and then I will going to give the IP 1010. Let me see where it is. 197.246 and Windows dash auth. Oh, let's see if I can try to do it without Windows authentication. No, still not. So let's do Windows
Is it
auth.
Starship or Star P? 'Cause I think you have a P in there.
Yeah, exactly. I just misspelled that one. So thank you for that one. Yeah. Okay, now I'd still get logged in, but still the problem persists over here. So select, let's say if I try to do username, I will be still getting, I believe, the same user, which is guest. So again, if I try to enable the XP command shell, try to getting remote code execution, still not working at all. So now that's where will get stuck a lot, and a lot of people get stuck over here. So again, the thing is about that you need to go for a way arounds over here. So now this is where now the hard part is coming on, and that one will be what can I do over here now. Let's summarize things more before moving on. So we did enumeration on domain controller, nothing found. We did username enumeration. We do found some username, some passwords, but with those username and passwords, we are not able to get anywhere, not getting logged in on any machine, not doing anything else. We did manage to get inside the MSSQL client database, but their XP command shell is not working. XP data was not working, but we still managed to get the, you can say, the hash of the user in which context the MSSQL client was running. So all of that stuff, but still we are able to crack the hash. Still we are not able to log in anywhere, and we are still at the same place. So now here comes the main part. So now the attack which I will be going to perform out will be a silver ticket attack. Now before moving on, what is a silver ticket attack? So silver ticket attack is an attack where you are going to craft your ticket for specifically service account. So now I will be going to explain in very layman terms. You can go to the websites and try to learn about silver tickets, golden tickets, and diamond tickets. So just in short, silver tickets are just for service accounts, just if you want to access any service. But let's say if you are going for golden ticket attack, that's the entire domain. And let's say you have a lot of defensive in place, definitely diamond ticket comes very handy over there once you need to bypass the defenses. So that's how the tickets are working through. What I can try to do over here is I have the username and the password. We also have the hash of the user who is running this MSSQL, right? So what I can do is I can forge a silver ticket, because this is a service again. This is very important. You need to learn about the concepts very much in detail. So this is a service, MSSQL service, definitely. So what we can try to do over here is that uh, we need to forge the silver ticket, get the service, and try to access administrator from there. So that's the whole idea behind the scenes going on. So what I will going to do is let's forge a silver ticket, and that's one of the most hardest thing which in an AD. So doing ticket stacks. So but a lot of tools does have made the things much more easy. So let's exit this terminal, let's clear some screens, and let's, yeah. So for tickets attacks, either it is silver ticket, diamond ticket, golden ticket. I always use a tool called from Impact. That is, I think so, Ticketer. Yeah. If I see the help menu of this one, yeah. So yeah, create a Kerberos gold and silver tickets based on the user option. So right here, I am after the silver ticket because this is a service account, and we need to target the service. So we need SPN, which is a service principal name. We also need domain SID. So domain SID is a service identifier, you can say. I just forgot the full name. I think so. It is service identifier. I don't know exactly, but that's fine. I need domain sid. I need you can say SPN, which is service principal name. Definitely, that would be MSSQL service, which we are targeting. And let's see what else we need. Yeah, we need DCIP and all of that stuff. So let's try to craft our command. So let's see what we can do. One more thing over here. Yeah, I think so. I need to pass out one more thing if I can see. Yeah, for silver ticket attack to work, we need to have the NTLM hash of the user. Without that, silver ticket doesn't work. But we don't have it right now, so we need to convert the password into NT hash. Again, we can use Python for that one, but I don't like to use Python right now because it will take a lot of time. You can use Python again if you come to my somewhere on my website. You will find out how to do that one. But I will be going to go to an online platform. Let's say password to NTLM hash, I believe. Yeah, so they are security identifiers. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see, generate NTLM hash. So for silver ticket to work on, I need a password hash. So if I try to do the password of star ship 99, let's calculate the NTLM hash and let's see. Yeah, here is the NTLM hash. So as easy as possible. So no need for doing Python coding and all of that stuff. Okay. So what we can try to do, I just missed one thing in my methodology right over here, enumeration methodology, that is BloodHound. So BloodHound is one of the most important one, and definitely I have been using I always use BloodHound in all sort of AD attacks. So I missed that one. Hopefully I will be going to show it right now in just afterwards. So if I forgot, do remember me because that's the most important one. Even for certifications like pen 200, pen 300, we use a lot of BloodHound. Okay, so now let's try to craft our silver ticket attack. So if I do impacted dash ticketed, again I need to see what I need to pass out because there are a lot of things. So let's see. Yeah, let's pass out step by step. So dash domain sid. Oh, I need to get the domain sid as well. I don't have that one. I need to pass out the NTLM hash as well right over here with NTS. So let's try to craft our command. So dash domain, this one, dash domain sid. I need to figure this out right now. So afterwards, yeah, there is one question over here. How do you become proficient in this technique? So again, been doing this for like 7, 8 years. So definitely I now have memorized all of these commands and all of that stuff. And that's part of my methodology as well. So try to make as much notes as you can. So you can see these all are my notes, which I am writing mostly over here. Right. So do a lot of things, learned a lot of stuff over here, bug bounty, all of that stuff. And then meanwhile, you will be able to get proficient as well. So, okay, so domain seed, I need to look up how I can find that out. And then I need to pass out the NTLM hash. So NT hash, this one. And then I need to pass out the target as well. Definitely that will be administrator because I need it administrator. Looks fine except domain sid. So for domain sid, there is a very easy way. There are a lot of ways you can use RPC. You can use a lot of other ways. So I normally like to use in Packet. There is a script called lookup, I believe. Yeah, lookup SID exactly. So dash help to see how we can use it. I think so. I need to provide it again the same. So domain, username, and password. So domain is this one slash username will be let's do Raskzek. Password is Starship. Let's do Starship. I just forgot what was the password. Starship 99. Yeah, I think so. That's it. Oh, I need to add the target 10.10.197.245. Enter. Let's see. Yeah, hey, there you go. So domain SID is this one. So I will simply copy this domain SID. So just a pretty way to get the domain SID. There are a lot of methods for domain SID. I normally use this one. Enter now. I need to pass out a single minus in domain said enter now again. And there you go. Now this is where you will learn about like how to play with tickets, because most of the people in AD doesn't know like how you can play with tickets over here. So whenever you get a ticket, what you need to do. So definitely in AD, you know that your authentication mechanism is going from like in the form of tickets. Okay. So what happens out is that you are playing with tickets. So what we can do is now there are a lot of errors in my Kali right now, though it just got crashed, so that you can just ignore these all error messages and warnings. But we are having a message over here that hey, I am saving the ticket in this administrator.c cache file. And what we can try to do over here now is yeah, so this is my ticket right over here. Now we are dealing with Kerberos now, because a lot of people just are using Windows authentication and they're thinking that we are authenticating with Kerberos. So yeah, that sometimes work, but sometimes doesn't. But in this case scenario, we are having a ticket. And whenever you have a ticket, what you need to do is you need to export it into a variable called krb5, I believe krb5 cc name is equal to, and pass out the administrator cache file. That is the ticket. And now to see your ticket is how long your ticket will work and all of that stuff, you just need to do klist. And I believe from my previous, yeah, okay, that's fine. I thought I just messed something up, but looks fine for me. And this ticket will expire at this time and whatever it is. So you can see right the timing of the expiry. And this is where I will highlight a very potential thing from one of the certification exams. And some of this will help you as well. So when you are doing any certification exam, the exam scenario is in such a way that let's say your exam is 24 hours or your exam is 48 hours, or no matter how you are. So what happens out is that your ticket normally expires after 8 hours or 9 hours. So you are in your exam, your ticket has been expired. Now you are coming in that place where the ticket is. So what you do is you are trying with the ticket. A lot of people doesn't know to see the time and expiry of the ticket. So you just need to do klist, try to see what the ticket time expiry is. So the ticket has been expired and you do so, and you are stuck into a rabbit hole in that exam, and you don't know exactly what to do and what not to do. So exactly whenever you be in this situation, always try to reboot the exam, or whatever you say, reset the exam or whatever it is. So always at that place, do reset the time and save your time. That will save you a lot of valuable time. So definitely that's worth it. Okay, so now I have exported the ticket into my variable name. All of the things are working fine. Let's get back to impacted MSSQL client. So let's see if I have forged the silver ticket properly as an administrator. I should get logged in to that one. So impacket dash, let's say MSSQL client. And for Kerberos, again, to deal with Kerberos, you need to pass out. Yeah, so there are some questions. Uh, the Yeah, most of the tasks are done from the scratch, but if you want to do advanced bypasses and you can create your own tools as well. You need to do a lot of automation for that one. And most of the red teamers are doing that one. So I'm just showcasing the open source tools right here for you beginners, because if I'm going to show you how to create a tool and all the source code stuff, that will be way more difficult for you. So if you go for Pen 300, you will learn how to create tools, how to go this one. So there is one more question: how to learn everything from basic to advanced from you. Okay, so yeah, I normally do consulting as well, so you can just reach me out on Twitter and then I will get or LinkedIn. That's all. So dash K is for Kerberos right over here. So if you now I have a ticket imported into my Kali Linux, and I know it will be authenticating with Kerberos, so I need to pass out dash K. I think so. Yeah, dash K, and I will tell that I don't have the password. So dash no pass flag is for that one. And the good thing about Kerberos authentication is that you just need to pass out the IP or the domain name of that machine. So I will provide the IP of that machine again: 10.10.197.246. Hit enter. Unrecognized argument, dash no dash pass. Let me see the help menu. What is that one? Oh, it's dash no dash pass. So dash no dash pass, hit enter. And if I have done the silver ticket attack correctly, I should get logged in. So let's see if this works. And I do have an error. Name or service unknown. Let me see if my machine is on. Yeah, it is on. So 246. Let's try to do the domain name. If I do srv1, let me see my host file first of all. srv1.Klendathu looks fine. This one, enter now. Let's see. Yeah, I thought I just messed something out on that one, but let's see how to fix this thing. Let me see if my machine is working. Let me extend the time because I don't want to make this. Yeah, I'm making the domain fully qualified domain name. Yeah, it's by default. srv1.Klendathu.pl. Yeah, so something I messed up in my tickets because I was having some stuff over here as well. Yeah, I directly saw something is wrong over here, but let me see. No, in this case scenario, I'm dealing with Kerberos, so I don't need a Windows authentication because Kerberos, Kerberos and Windows authentication are totally different things. So I just messed up with the MSSQL client dash k dash no dash pass, and if I try to do again srv1. And that too dot pl. Yeah, so something is not working. Oh, I just missed one thing exactly. So what I missed again, that happens a lot. I just didn't did the silver ticket attack correctly. So how to do the silver ticket attack correctly was that we provided a domain set, we did the anti-hash, we did all of that stuff, but we didn't provided that which service I'm attacking. That was SPN. So let's try to do that quickly again. So impacket dash get, I think so, ticketer dash h. Let me see where was my previous command. I just missed that one. If I can, impacket dash get, uh, it was ticketer. Yeah. Okay, so I will just copy paste the previous command over here. And the thing which I missed was the target, which is SPN. Right, so I'm targeting MSSQL service. I forgot to just add the SPN right over here, and that's where I got stuck over there directly. So let's do it again. And now saving ticket in administrator.ccache file. We do have administrator.ccache. Yeah, control R is the one for recursive search of that one. So yeah, I could have done that one. So now if I try to do KRP5CC name, now if I do klist, yeah, now it was working. So definitely when I first looked at the service principal, I saw that why there was KRBTGT, because I am not targeting KRBTGT, I'm targeting MSSQL. So now this should work. So let's go on and try to do impacket dash MSSQL client and dash k dash no dash pass, and one of the comment was saying that you need to do IP. I believe that we should work without IP as well, but let's see how it goes on because I'm resolving this using my host file. So 10.10.197.246. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't, I will definitely go for the domain name. Yeah, looks like doesn't work. So if I try to do now srv1.Klendathu.pl. Oh yeah, it does work. So, yeah, so you were right actually. So we need to provide a fully qualified domain name over here. I just forgot about this thing. So now if I try to do select my username, user underscore name, DBO, and now if I try to do enable XP command shell, we do have command shell enabled. So this is how in real world environments you are trying to bypass the things. So that's not easy. Just try to go to enable XP command shell, the thing I told out. So now I am now enabled able to get XP command shell enabled. Simple and easy reverse shell. I use refshells.com. My IP and all of that stuff is set. So in PowerShell XP command shell, if you are doing any certification exam and all of that stuff, do this one. This always works for me. For me, it actually worked always. So now I will going to go for, let's say, XP command shell. First of all, I need to try who am I. One more interesting thing, whenever you are trying RCE, always go for who am I or blind RCE, because never try or always try to go for reverse shell. How do you identify that you can do a silver attack? Now again, first answer of that one would be like experience, but the second one would be like this was a service, okay, and I was able to get the service account credentials. So I do have username and password as well. So if I want to access that service, I can craft a silver ticket, because silver tickets are mostly used for service accounts and accessing the services directly. So definitely I can forge a silver ticket and forge it as administrator and try to log in with that one. Okay, so yeah, now you can see XP command shell. Who am I? I am Rask Zek. Okay, so now I am Rask Zek. I need to get a reverse shell. So again, for reverse shell, copy this PowerShell one, do XP underscore command shell, paste the PowerShell over here, and let's start our listener as well. So now for listeners, I use a lot of automated tools. So doesn't who am I make blue team alerted, since no one will run who am I to get their user normally. So normally what happens out when you are running who am I? So this was my, yeah, exactly. So we do have two questions from the who am I purpose. So now this one was which I was working recently in my real world scenario as well. So I was working with a very famous EDR, and I just found out again it was very strange. I don't know exactly why it happened out, but when I ran who am I, it is, I cannot name the company right over here. It was having the one of the best EDR right over here. So I just tried who am I, and it actually didn't detect it out. So I, again, you are right that it should detect it out. Who am I can be very noisy over there, but yeah, that's how it goes on. But in AD environments, normally who am I gets triggered exactly, and EDR does get pick it up. So there are a lot of way arounds for that one as well, but you also need to you can try to go for benign commands as well. So benign commands means that try to run a command which EDR thinks this is totally legitimate. So in that way you can bypass the EDR that way. So okay, so like benign commands, you can say try to echo hello world or anything into a random file. That is totally non-malicious. Definitely it is creating a file, but right in this context I am actually having administrator privileges. So uh, administrator does have privilege to write a file, so definitely that would be allowed, and that will be not noisy. So there are a lot of other techniques right now, but still there are a little more things in this session going on, so I just need to focus on that one. So okay, so this one for reverse shell and try to, yeah, so if we talk about EDR, this reverse shell will definitely get picked as well. So if you are talking about who am I, the thing which I am doing right over here will get picked up easily, because this is a very famous payload from refshells.com and so on. So you need to figure out a lot of ways to bypass EDRs and all those sort of stuff as well. So for reverse shells I was talking about, there are some tools which I normally use for automation. Now again, my Linux is crashed, that's why it will not work, but the one I can show you is Penelope. Penelope is a wonderful tool for getting reverse shells back onto your system. So if I just do Penelope 443, it will start listener automatically on everything. It will do all of the things automatically. It will get a TTY shell for me automatically, because you press Control C, your session dies. You press a lot of other stuff, your session dies in Netcat actually. So this one doesn't happen anymore. So definitely my Linux is crashed. I am still not able to install this properly. So I get use this for reverse shell. So the second reason for why I use Penelope is uploading and downloading files. In a lot of cases, let's say you are having some restrictions, like you can't use wget, you don't have wget onto your system, you don't have curl onto your system, you don't have anything onto your system. So what you can do is, this tool helps us because this has a lot of methods over there in this one. So Penelope is the first one which I do. So if I hit enter over here, let's see if this works here. So okay, we do have an error message over here, so let's see. Okay, so this payload is too long. Maximum length is 128. That's strange. If I try it in double quotes, might work. Enter. Yeah, let's see if this works. Yeah, it does work. And there you go. You can see. Yeah, regarding Penelope or Poundcat, Penelope is much better because Poundcat does have problems with, you can say, Windows. So right here, over here, you can see where I got a Windows pivot shell as well. So definitely in Poundcat, you will be having a lot of problems with Windows. So if you are having all of the things correct, definitely. So yeah, Hoax shell is also getting detected nowadays. So I'm working with the latest EDRs right now in my daily job as well. So all of these, the open source ones, totally easily detectable by EDRs and now AV as well. So Windows 10 AV has the signature for Hoax shell as well. So I believe, I don't remember anymore. Yeah. The second one is read line wrap. So that's what I will going to use because my Penelope is not working correctly. So I need to press Control C and I need to write read line wrap. Now that's the only way to just make our Windows shell much more better. So let's use read line wrap, netcat, NVLP443, and we do have a shell. I do use C2 in that one, but again for this one, if I directly go over to Cobalt Strike and show you on stream, definitely that will be much harder for beginners to go on. So I use Cobalt Strike, I use Metasploit a lot, I use there was one more, Covenant a lot. So yeah, Cobalt Strike is one of the best one out of all those. Okay, so we do have a reversal, and that was how you get on the first machine after struggling for like 1.5 hours, directly on doing some enumeration and all of the stuff. So that's how in real world you need to try a lot, a lot, a lot, and a lot. So now I can try to do who am I am still that one. Now this is a place where I will be going to go for privilege escalation on Windows. Yeah, CRTO is having Cobalt Strike right over here, and you need to go for a lot of Cobalt Strike stuff. You need to understand their commands. So yeah, definitely a good certification and one of the best fun for red teaming exercises as well. So whenever I am on Windows for privilege escalation, I always do whoami/priv to see what are my privileges and all of that stuff. So again, directly you will see that there is a same personal privilege. So again, potatoes attacks comes into play in this one. So normally I like to use God Potato. That's the latest one, I believe. No, there was one more latest one, Juicy Potato NG, I believe. So now what I could have done is, let's go for God Potato. I believe I do have God Potato downloaded, so I'll just save a little bit of time over here and just copy it from my OPT. I do save my tools in OPT. Copy it over here and let's use wget. Let's see if that works over here. So I will go into my users directory, cd into public directory. Yeah, EFS Potato, exactly. Yes, you are right. So now if I do, let's start a Python server on my Kali. So wget http:// 10.8.5.85 slash, I need to copy paste code potato and I will make it short. Let's say gd.exe, enter. I just did one thing wrong. I think so. I need to provide dash o flag. If I do dir, yeah, that's not over here. So I need to provide o flag. For my wget command, I don't know where it went out. Yeah, exactly. So God Potato is the best one. 10.8.5.85 / God Potato dash O gd.exe. Now it should work. Less. There it is. Now for God Potato, I normally like to use netcat to get a reverse shell for command prompt. So I will also do netcat.exe into my current working directory, start a Python server, and I can try to go for netcat64. So again, wget netcat64-o netcat64.exe. And with God Potato, what I can now do is let me confirm all of these things are here, and C and GD are here. So now I will simply do /gd.exe-cmd. Just for you who doesn't know, just you can see the help menu and see how to run it over here. So /cmd and then cmd/c. So -cmd, I need to do cmd/c, and then I need to run the netcat binary, which is present in my current working directory. So that's fine. And I will going to get a reverse shell on my local IP on port 443. And now I will also start a listener. So read line wrap again, listener, enter. And there is the reverse shell. If I type in who am I am anti-authority system. So this one was an easy way around to go for the reverse shell. Yes, so up till now we have done a lot of things. So now I will going to explain you my methodology. I will not going to showcase a little bit more stuff. So right here you are anti-authority system on the first machine. There are still two machines. Domain controller is still not compromised yet. There is one more machine which is still not compromised yet. We are still way behind the scenes. But what you could have done is over there. So yeah, so what you can do over here is, yeah, so right over here the last thing which we will work on will be bloodhound, because that's what I missed, and hopefully luckily the next steps will be using the bloodhound. So let's move on with bloodhound. And yeah, so once you have gone anti-authority system access on one machine, that's one of the most important thing, because there are some people who doesn't know even that if you are administrator on a machine and if you are anti-authority system on a machine, both of the things are totally different. Because in anti-authority system gets in the context of the domain, but administrator doesn't get in context of the domain. So that's something you need to understand actually. So if you are administrator and you are running bloodhound or sharphound or mimikatz or whatever stuff, might be possible not work. But if you're anti-authority system, everything does work over here. So my methodology over here is running mimikatz, try to dump all of the credential of this machine. The second one, in real world case scenarios, I always shut down the antivirus of this machine. So whatever EDRs or whatever AVs protections are running on this machine, normally in EDRs I don't have access to do that one, but local ones I can. So it depends upon if I have access or if I don't have access. So because if am able to shut down the EDR or any of that service which is monitoring me, then definitely I can run a lot of tools which I don't need to bypass EDR anymore on this machine only singly. So normally that's not the case, because in domain the EDR is connected to all of the machines and you don't have permission to shut that down. But you never know, might be happen. Yeah, Lazan is also a good one that can get you the clear text passwords and a lot of that one. So we use Lazan a lot as well. So okay. So yeah, now Mimikatz is the case, Lazan is the case, all of that case is over here. And yeah, I do a lot of enumeration in the C drive in all of the first. So in a real world engagement, I was able to find out some credentials totally in a plain text file of one of the directors of the company. So definitely worth it to like enumerating all of the C drive and all of that stuff. So yeah, that was all right over here for this one. Now let's move towards the final part, that was Bloodhound. And yeah, okay. So now let's move on how we can do that one. So let's try to go for this. Let's leave this over here. Let's open a new tab and let's move on to the Bloodhound directly. So for Bloodhound, a lot of people doesn't know that there is a Python version of Bloodhound which has been released. So if I do Bloodhound at Python dash help, this can help us a lot if we have the credentials of that one. So we can use the credentials of Rask Zek user and try to do bloodhound. So again, for the command, I exactly don't know the command. I need to use -ns for the name server, that will be domain controller IP --DNS TCP, I believe, and all of these flags. So just to save a little bit of time, I will go to my website, go into my methodology of AD pen testing, and I do have the bloodhound one. Yeah, so in here I'm using it in the context of Zim user, but I will be going to, yeah, we can use Zim as well, or we can use RaskZek as well. Any domain user who is inside a domain, that's fine. Let's try to use Zim and let's see what happens. So 10.10.197.245 is the name server, and collection method is all. So only this command is enough to gather you all of the information, and it makes much more easier to enumerate everything. So you can actually run this command in a lot of certification exams, and your exam will be way more easier, and AD environments will be way more easier, and you will be able to do them in like very less sort of time. So let's hit enter, and now what it will do is it will try to dump all of the information of the domain and all of that stuff. Yeah, so Rusthound, I just heard about it, but I have never used it. Hopefully I will see that one and I will get back with that one as well. So okay, so that's what this command does, and it will try to enumerate all of the things, and it will make, I believe, a JSON file. So you can see on my desk right over here. Yeah, it creates a JSON files, and what you need to do is just open Bloodhound and upload those JSON files over there. And I already have done that one, so I will just save a lot of time over here. And now this is Bloodhound. Let's say you have just uploaded all of these JSON files on Bloodhound, and that's all. So now, what you can do is, first thing first, always mark the users which you have compromised. So Zim is one of the user which I mark compromised. So I will click this one, I will right click this one, and I will say that, um, let's say what we can do. Yeah, I already have done that one, so that's why it's not showing me over here. So what you will see over here is mark this user as owned, which means that I have already compromised this user. So there is a skull sign over there. That's very important because Bloodhound is running queries and all of that stuff. So if you don't do that one, you can miss a lot of potential privilege escalation vectors right over there. So this one, the second user which I have already compromised is Rask Zek. This one, again, same thing for that one as well. So yeah, so yeah, ADCS, and there was one more, delegations. So ADCS and delegations are one of the most important concepts, and in real world they are being exploited in a wild. So in this session I was only able to prepare these all, not the delegations and ADCS. Hopefully we'll do in the future as well. So now, yeah, RaskSec is this one. So now we can try to enumerate these users, what we have privilege to, but we can also run queries like who is the domain admin of this one. So if I click on domain admin, this only administrator is the domain admin. We can also try to do find principals with DC sync rights. So let's see if we have any interesting. Only the domain controller and administrator, so nothing interesting. And we do have a lot of ones. So Kerberos table accounts is only KRB TGT, shortest path to high value targets. Let's see. And this one is huge one, so we need to find out an interesting stuff over here, what we can try to do or what we can. So we do have administrator, this one, but nothing is looking really interesting in this graph to me as well. So for getting the domain controller, we need to be only administrators. There is no other user who is having administrator right, domain admin right. So that's the only thing which we need to do. And yeah, there is no path coming over here as well. Let's see what RaskZek user can do. So node info, if I try to do, yeah. So first degree group membership, RaskZek is the user of domain users. Again, nothing interesting. First degree object control, we do have something interesting over here. So let's see. So again, now the steps which I will be going to follow on are the steps for, there are some certifications which are following these steps. So definitely gonna worth it now. So we do have a potential path over here. So the first potential path over here is that RaskZack user can force change password of IBAN and RICO. So that's a easy way to change the password of these two users and log in with that one. So easy way for us. But there is one more, that is generic write. So generic write means that you have access on all of the properties of that user. So you can change anything you want. You can change SPN, you can change user account, user principal names, and all of that stuff. So you can do anything. This means generic write is one of the most powerful in Active Directory. If you have generic write on either domain admin, you can just do anything on the domain admin and you can just go to the domain controller. That's all how it goes on. So force change password, a very good one to actually compromise that one. So I can now use Linux abuse. I normally like to use Linux abuse, and I will not follow this one. Yeah, this I will also follow the same one, but a unique way to do this one using RPC. So RaskZack can do that one. And yeah, so before doing that one, that was mostly about bloodhound. You need to look at everyone. So let's say you have compromised IBANs or RICO, then click on RICO, try to find out some more information. Either RICO can have any path to domain admin and all of that stuff. So yeah, so yeah, I have been doing this in like since 7-8 years. I am in the industry for last 7-8 years. So okay. So now let's move on towards changing the password. So for that one, I normally use RPC client, and I do have the command, but I will do it again. So RPC client, yeah, one of the bad rabbit hole where people fall over here is that they are just doing RPC client and they just forget to enter the domain name, because you are now in a domain context. So make sure you don't forget to put the full domain name. So the full domain name is Klendathu.vl, and we need to log in as RaskZack because RaskZack has the privileges. So RaskZack, and there was the IP which I need to specify, 10.10.197. This will be domain controller IP. So 197.245. Okay, so okay, so the password is of RaskZack was Starship 99. I believe Starship 99. Oh yeah, I just misspelled it. RaskZack. So RaskZack Starship 99. And now, yeah, so I have now logged in as RaskZack. I can log in with RPC. That's easy way, but a lot of people doesn't know that you can change the password of some other user inside a domain using RPC client as well. So that's what I wanted to show you out. And I think so that is using set user info function. Yeah, right over here. Now I don't know either it is set user info or set user info 2, but user info dash h for help if I can see. Yeah, I need to provide the username. I need to provide the level, and level is I believe 23 to change the password and password. So if I do set user info and if I do 23 is the level, I need to provide username. So I can change the password of RICO. So I can do RICO, level is 23, and the password which I want to, let's say anything, let's say test 1234, an exclamation mark, enter. I got an error, an anti status password restriction. I think so password policy is getting into the place. So what I can do is, let's see, let's try to change it to password 12345 exclamation mark, enter. Yeah, so this becomes successful, and now I have changed the password of RICO, and this one is successful now. So I think so I can confirm this, but I don't know if I can Yeah, but normally this is more than enough to change the password of Preco. So that's where now there are again a lot of more steps right over here to move on. And again, if you are going on AD environments, that will be way more long. You can take months even trying all of that stuff. So I think so the further steps were that you can there was a misconfiguration in the Linux machine, which is a blind technique actually. So you need to try also a lot of blind techniques as well. But after changing this password, you can now try to yeah, there are a lot of stuff again, password spraying, all of that stuff. And then you can also on the Linux machine, I just forgot one thing, we need to do SSH on every machine as well. So that's the thing which I missed actually. So I forgot that SSH was open on the machine. So whenever you found usernames, password, always spray that over here as well. So 10.10.197.247 and SSH reco. So if I do yes, let's see if the password works, which I have changed. And most probably it will not, because now right here comes a vulnerability that was in Linux versions. That's a misconfiguration which allows users actually to change the user principal name and then try to log in. That's a huge blog post and all of the other stuff. Yeah, so for this one I will keep it until here. And that was just, you can say, 50 to 60% of what my methodologies on all of that stuff. There is still a lot of stuff, but if you are a beginner, you can try all these things to get move on in any AD environment. Yeah, so I will just keep it until here for now.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah. Hopefully, that was informative for a lot of folks. And it's just interesting when people, like when we do the methodology and everyone has different steps, right? Like
yeah,
like an assumed breach scenario, right? Like you jump right to BloodHound and just do that and dump and just instead of doing all the
yeah,
stuff that you did, you just
yeah,
especially like a lot of the hack the box now, usually they'll have like an assumed breach, give you a username, password. So people just like still don't even do the nmap. They're like, oh, it's this. Let's just jump to BloodHound. It's like, and if you get into that methodology, you start skipping, then you start getting wired just to try to skip some steps, and then it's like, oh shit, I need to
yeah,
step back a little bit because then you're always going to miss something. So having that like from soup to nuts, like from
yeah,
beginning to end, is definitely informative. So I want to say thanks. I definitely learned a few things, and I always use set user info too here
okay,
for this. Like if I'm setting, I actually just did what was it? Blackfield. Blackfield was a hard box. So I'm like, I want to step up some, my game in some areas, and I'm like, oh, let's just give this a shot. And it was
yeah,
and this is a spot that I got a little, it was a little fun. It was a little
yeah,
fun,
exactly,
but
yeah, exactly,
so,
yeah,
obviously it's getting late where you are. So I want to obviously appreciate that. So I guess I have a few questions for those folks. So for VulnLabs, this would you consider this like beginner friendly? We talked about as a beginner, you don't know anything, you don't know there's a Cisco switch, whatever. So would you say for someone that's saying, "Oh, I love Ali, I love what he's doing, I want to be like Ali when I grow up," right? So now, would you recommend jumping into this, or would there be a little segue to get into here? Did you hear me? Oh, did I lose him? Can you guys hear me?
yeah, I can hear you, I can hear you.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah. So VIA is not exactly. I
Yeah,
don't think so, but
yeah,
obviously I never used it. That's why I'm asking you for someone that uses it. And what would be your recommendation prior to getting into VulnLabs? No, I'm asking you, Ali. Like, what would be your
yeah.
recommendation?
About what?
So, what would be your recommendation before getting into VulnLabs?
Before getting into VulnLabs, you can try, if you are now, it depends upon where you are standing right now. So if you are totally beginner, then definitely VulnLabs is not the platform for you, because those are quite hard machines, right? The easy level ones and all those ones. So if you are very beginner level, like you have just started out, always start off with TryHackMe, because TryHackMe is totally beginner friendly in walkthrough based. Then if you work almost 3 to 4 months on TryHackMe, make notes. The most important thing is make a lot of notes, because that's the thing where I struggle a lot. That in the you can say first 3 years I was not having a single note over there,
Yeah.
and I did almost like 300 to 400 boxes while I was preparing for OSCP. So all those boxes, all of that stuff, I was not having any notes, and that's where I struggled a lot. Why? One, because in real world engagement and all of that stuff, whenever things came in front of mine, so for example Jenkins or any other CMS came into my mind, so I just came into my mind that, oh, I did this like last year, but I don't know how to pen test it.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's the thing, that if you are having notes, Jenkins come in front of you, you will have a proper cheat sheet into your notes that, okay, last year I did this. So
Hmm.
okay, now I will be going to perform all of the steps over there, and that's how it's going on. So that was the reason I made my own website as well, program notes.programmer security. So I'm putting now all of my notes over there, so I can just go to the website wherever I am, just copy the command, paste it, and hit
Yeah.
enter. That's also. After that, you can go over to hack the box, try to play hack the box machines, and then you can come here on the VulnLab. So that should be the path for you to go on.
Sweet, sweet. All right, awesome. Yeah, that was super cool, and I really appreciate it. And I know it's nearly midnight for you, so I want to cut it short. So thank you again. And if you guys
Yeah.
haven't, please subscribe to his channel. His notes. Let me go ahead and share that really quick. I copy that. I'll share it for the folks that sharing is caring. So yeah, if there's any other questions for Ali, you guys know where to find them. Just hit him up, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much, and much love for everyone, and thank you.